So we will attempt to call the Graham County Board of Commissioners to order Monday, May 18th. And just for recorded purposes, Mr. Auditor, would you give us a roll call to see who's here? Sure. So, Mr. Burton.
Present.
Mr. Mallory.
Here.
Present. Looks like all three are present. We do have quorum, all three members present. Under the emergency directions of the governor, we can do business. I would ask if you, those in the room, if you would, to stand with us. I'll lead us in a word of prayer, and I'm going to ask our auditor to lead us in the pledge of allegiance. Oh God, our Heavenly Father, as we bow in your presence, we're grateful for the opportunity to assemble, to gather in person and on internet. And we pray that you will grant us wisdom as we do the business of the community today. We ask for your favor and your mercy as you continue to pour out your healing grace upon our people that are sick in this world that needs help from this very sick virus that's going around. Thank you for your help and your direction in all that we do. Help us to walk hand in hand with you. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and please be seated. On our agenda, we have the next item up would be payroll pre-approvals for claims. And so with regard to payroll number 10, I gave pre-approval on May 12th in the amount of $520,885.46. And that was to be paid out on May the 15th, 2020. We would need a motion to ratify the payroll pre-approval.
I will make a motion to ratify payroll number 10 for approval.
Second.
We have a motion with support. Any discussion on that, gentlemen?
No.
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor would say aye. Roll call, please.
Aye.
Mr. Burton.
Aye.
Mr. Mallory.
Aye.
And Mr. Bartlett. Aye. All ayes. We have taken care of payroll number 10. With regard to a pre-approval on claims and amounts, I, as the president, pre-approved the May 11th claims in the highway in the amount of $60,589.31. General batch, $226,037.10. And the other batch, $442,182.19, for a grand total of $728,808.60. That was pre-approved, so we would need a motion to ratify the May 11th pre-approvals.
I'll make a motion that we ratify the May 11th pre-approval of claims.
I would second that.
I have a motion with support. Any questions on that, gentlemen?
No.
No.
Mr. Auditor, roll call, please. Okay, Mr. Burton.
Aye.
Mr. Mallory.
Aye.
And Mr. Bartlett. Aye. It is carried. Then we have today's bills as well, gentlemen. May 18th from the general batch in the amount of $117,027.73. Other batch, $68,566.58. Highway batch, $2,829.46. That would be for a grand total of $188,423.77. We just need a motion to actually approve.
I move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Mowry? Mr. Burton did second.
Aye.
Thank you. All right.
Aye.
I think we're ready to go ahead for a roll call. I'm sorry, gentlemen.
Okay, Mr. Burton,
Aye.
Mr. Mowry,
Aye.
and Mr. Barton.
Aye.
All ayes.
Thank you, gentlemen. And that concludes our claims and amounts. With your permission, I have already signed those authorizations, and we'll use your stamp to follow up on those claims as well.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to ask Justin here for just a second. Did we get packets to them with the clerk and the measure reports? Okay. I have in front of me, gentlemen, a monthly report from the clerk of courts, month ending 4/30 of 2020, as well a receipt monthly report from Weights and Measures from February 16 to March 15th of this year. And we need to receive those if you're willing.
Yes.
Yes.
By common consent, then, we will receive the clerk of circuit court report and the Weights and Measures report. And thank you for that. Under communication and board updates, Mr. Auditor, do you have anything for us?
I do not.
All right. I can just do a quick little aside. Jim, myself, and Shane met with Terry Burnsworth last week as we were still working on the Central Dispatch budget process. Anything that you want to say there, Jim? We still have plenty of things to.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the expenses are pretty much, they're getting wrapped up as far as costs that we paid out at this point. But as far as anything specific at this time, nothing really comes to mind. I can bring out, I guess. We're getting close to that time we're going to start operating, I believe. June 8th is kind of the projected date right now.
That's our target date, is June 8th.
I will be sending out a billing letter to the cities that are part of our agreement, their portion, first act, June 8th to June 30th.
And we have gotten clarification with Marion General Hospital. We will be sending them the invoices so that they will pay up to $500,000 on those invoices that are a part of our equipment needs.
This might point out too, since the hospital is going to be paying those bills directly, I've recommended to Justin that as he does that, we need to keep track of those billings. And since we're the party being actually billed, we need to get evidence from the hospital that they've actually paid those bills. And actually, the cost of that improvement still becomes, county assets. So we need to make sure we have that so we can report as an asset as well. So very good. Just wanted to make sure we're clear on that. Justin. Okay, very good. Did they have any problem with that at all?
I have not received a response.
Okay. We just want to make sure the bill's paid. We don't think they would, but we just need to make sure since we're being billed by that party involved, we want to make sure we have it.
I don't think they want to have to pay for any other equipment after this, I'm sure. Any questions about that, gentlemen?
No,
No.
not for me.
All
No.
right. Any other elected officials in the room right now? Other committee reports? Do you need to share anything from EMA right now? Yeah, this would be a good time to do an update from Bob Jackson, Emergency Management.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good
We
morning.
have scaled back our operations at the Emergency Operations Center, really to just 2 days a week that we provide briefings. We're still working daily on some of the issues. We've still supported the health department as they move forward and still tracking cases every day. So we'll expect to continue to see spikes as we've seen this weekend. And then we'll react where we have to, but honestly, most of it is expected. Long-term care facilities have done an excellent job of containing the cases they have had inside those facilities. And unfortunately, there have been some deaths as a result of that. There again, it's unfortunate, but was not unexpected. So, as we move forward, we Missouri and supporting the community's efforts with food distributions. Our community schools does a big one every Wednesday. The other county schools are doing them as well. As far as St. Martin's, we want to support all those efforts. In fact, that's been our directive from the state EOC that we continue to support those. So we do on a local basis for sure. And then as business starts to open, I know Dr. Moore and I plan to make some rounds and support business where we can to look for best practices. Everybody tries to figure out what's the best course of action as they move forward, how they protect their employees and the public. So that truly is our focus as we move forward. Any questions?
No.
Very much.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. Any other committees or reports that we need to have right now? All right. We will move to IT report. Marcus is in the room and he's got a big smile on his face, gentlemen.
Morning, gentlemen. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep. All right. Good deal. All right. So I got 2 items with me today. The first one thing I want to bring to your attention is the state's Fire Eye program. So at the beginning, or I'd say like towards the end of last year, the state signed a deal with this company called Fire Eye. And it was basically they're a security software vendor, and they're basically wanting to have tools in place for the election. So they're basically wanting us to install this software on the clerks and election computers, and they're also offering it to the rest of the county as well. But for right now, it's just you need to have it on the clerk's computers. Like I said, this is at no cost to the county. So when they signed the deal, it was for 2 years. So at the end of that 2 years, then we can choose to either keep it, but there will be a cost on top of that, or we can choose to sever it at the end. So I believe the end is December 2022. Like I said, I just wanted to bring this to your attention because in order for us to move forward with it, getting this in place, the commissioners have to approve it, and they gave us a NDA, and there's a form that the commissioners have to sign. So I just wanted to formally, bring it to your attention, and I can give you all that information via email, or I can give it to Justin. He can give it to you that way as well.
Just for our edification, we've already run this by Kyle.
Yes. Yep. Kyle looked at it. He said they were all safe to sign. And like I said, I can include a copy of that email as well. But
Pretty much it's the state saying we have to have this. They're not going to charge us. But we've got a contract that we have to sign. Kyle's authorized us to move forward if you guys are ready to do that.
Okay.
I agree.
We should probably formally approve the contract with FireEye Cybersecurity Services as required by the state. And if somebody wants to make a motion to that effect, we can move forward.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Mowry and support from Mr. Burton. Any further discussion on that, gentlemen?
No.
No.
All right, we'll do the roll call, please.
Okay, Mr. Burton,
Aye.
Mr. Mowry,
Aye.
and Mr. Bartlett.
Aye. I think that's one of the first times we voted on something that Marcus wasn't asking for money on.
oh, I'm not that. No, I said there's another paper right here.
He did leave it till 1/1 of 22 be paid.
That's right.
Yeah, so,
All right, you still have the floor, sir. Go
yep,
right ahead.
okay, yep, so the final item I have, in our health department and the vital records, division, they, as you all know, we've been in the process of redoing the county printers and copiers. They currently still have a older Lexmark that is on it's on the lease that's coming up here in September. So we are needing to get this one replaced. We originally had a black and white printer for it. However, it can only support up to 2 trays. And for the vital records, they need to have 3 trays. So in order to do this, we needed to get a different printer for it. So I have a proposal request form here from Advanced Imaging. And this is basically for a replacement printer that will allow the 3 trays, so that way the health department can print all of their life and death certificates. And basically, they would just be adding this on to our existing monthly plan. This would just be an additional $70 on top of the bill.
For how long?
For how long? It would,
Infinitum?
no, it'd be for, because this one, like this printer, I think it's only a little over 1,000. That comes with the trays. So that one would probably be paid off in a couple of years. But right now we're on a 5-year lease with them. And at the end of the lease, we own all the equipment. So this isn't something where at the end we have to give it back or swap it out for something else.
So this will be done at the end of that lease. We don't have, this doesn't extend further to make it a 5-year.
No.
And that would come out of what line item?
It'd be the same one where our normal, because it's under the commissioner's account. There's like a line item where we have the services and equipment come out for the printers and copiers, which I work with April on that. I don't have the exact account number.
We can afford $70 more a month on that.
Yeah, I would. I don't know how tight it was originally budgeted.
We need to take immediate action on that, or can we hold off for 30 days to find out where we are on the finance?
I think we should be good. If you want to hold off, we can.
I'd just like to know what we're in that line item. Make
Okay.
sure we're not overspending right off on that.
Sure. Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Just help me there. We're talking probably about $500 or so for the rest of the year.
I haven't heard this till today, so you're talking $70.
Yeah, $7 times 12.
So you're talking 8 more months, I suppose, $560, I guess.
Mhm.
But, my reaction is if it's something that's needed, it's okay. It's just a matter of making sure. Not just adding machine to add machine.
I mean, if with $560, we can probably go ahead and approve that, gentlemen. But if we're looking short, we'll have to ask for either a transfer or appropriation to make sure that we cover that.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, we can move some money around. Or get additional. That's okay.
Does that sound all right, or do you want to still check the money before we take action, gentlemen?
I move to approve.
I second.
All right, Ron Mallory moves to approve. Mike Burton has seconded. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, Mr. Auditor, would you give us roll call, please?
Mr. Burton,
Aye.
Mr. Mallory,
Aye.
and Mr. Barzil.
Aye. All right. So we're going to move forward with that new printer, and Dr. Morrill expresses gratitude. And just
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Just a side note, too, it's a 5-year agreement with the SMG on that, and we still own the equipment in the release. Just as a comment, most likely, in a 5-year period, that copy equipment's going to be something that's going to have a lot of value. 5-year period, you're gonna be having new equipment to replace that. So just,
Right.
so you know, it's one of those things where you don't keep those types of equipment pieces bring off that much longer.
Just like a car, you pay it off and something breaks on
And
it.
it's time for.
Well, that's, like I said, I ran into that today. So, hey, like I said, they just gave me this request proposal form, but I think Dan will come out sometime this week whenever I get him to go ahead and he'll bring out paperwork. So either I can sign it or I can.
If it's coming out of ours, I'll sign it.
Okay. Yeah, then we'll just do that.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a Department of 6, 8, like that. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, because I can't see I have to go visit April or Justin to go look at that account. Okay.
Very good.
That's all I have.
Thank
Thanks
you.
again, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We have Mr. White in the house.
He's right outside. He's waiting to come on and rotate in.
Technically, I think we can have 25 in the room now. He just didn't want to come in.
Right.
David, how are you today, sir?
Just fine. I have a couple of things to bring up today. First thing is I got notification from Mr. Hall about closing State Road 5 and using County Road 400 North and 4th Street for the Van Buren Popcorn Festival. They need approval. They closed State Road 5, so.
Get approval to use our roads.
That's September? When is that?
Usually August.
August?
Yes. Usually early in August. I think.
So they're anticipating that they will be COVID-free popcorn festival. And we always approve that, so you have a problem, gentlemen, with going through the motions of petitioning the state to close State Road 5 during the popcorn festival?
No, I'm
No.
fine with it.
All right. Of course, we will defer to the health department and the state if there was to be a resurgence or something. Of course, they're going to shut that down anyway, but we need to have the structure available there to make sure that Popcorn Festival can move forward if all things being equal are good and positive. So you want to do that by consent or you want to make a motion?
Consent is fine with me.
Yeah, I agree.
We will approve that by common consent, and tell me where to sign off on this, David. Go from there. We will do that.
And the other thing, we was gonna start cleaning up the Branson Street log jam this week, but I guess with the rain, we're gonna hold off on that probably till next week, whenever the water goes down, so. Update you a little bit on our NVH money fund. We just got our March letting last week for, we get it in 2 months ahead. It was almost $68,000 less for March than what it was for February, so. Honoring that.
We are definitely taking a hit because nobody's been driving, right, using that gas tank. Yeah.
So I'd say at least a couple more months at least. Going downward.
Which is interesting, is I would have assumed that the revenue for 2020 would have been established at what they claimed. That's not the case there.
2 months.
See, for income tax, it's different than that. That's interesting.
I thought it was a month behind, but it's actually 2 months.
That is a big difference.
We're going to see some slump in our contributions coming from the VH.
Right.
That makes
So along with that, I would like to do is, I have a quote for a used mowing tractor that I'd like to purchase. The total price with I did it by extended warranty was $52,874. But I would like to go on a 24-month lease to purchase program, which basically is $2,299 per month. penalty if we do pay it off early. I'd just like to do that just in case we don't have the extra cash flow to pay off.
That's amazing. This is a used tractor for 52,000. And I like the idea of the $22.99 a month, kind of help us keep some pressure off that. Gentlemen, do you have thoughts, comments about that?
No, if you're fine with it, I'm fine with it.
Dave, will this be replacing a mower, or will that be an additional mower?
This will be replacing the one that we sold last year in the auction.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm okay with that.
All right. Since you're okay with that too, Ron, would you mind making a motion that we approve the moving forward on the used mowing tractor?
I make a motion, we approve the purchase of the used mowing tractor.
I'll second.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion, Mr. Mowry, second, Mr. Burton. Any further discussion or clarification? Hearing none, we'll ask the auditor for roll call.
Okay, Mr. Burton,
Aye.
Mr. Mowry,
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye. Thank you, gentlemen. We have moved forward with a mowing tractor.
Don't have anything.
Any questions for Dave today, gentlemen?
No.
No.
I do. I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate here. Dave and I had a conversation, was it last week or the week before, about Branson Street Bridge.
Oh, yes.
And if you wouldn't mind updating the gentleman on what the possibilities are for that.
I was met with a consulting firm last week on some other projects, and he was basically notifying me that in 2026, the state is going to do another federal aid. I'm sorry, they're going to have a call this year for federal aid jobs. It will be constructed in year 2026. I know that we always try to do big major projects that cost millions of dollars, and I guess I was just to see what your feelings were about getting a consulting firm selected to maybe possibly look at replacing Branson Street Bridge over the Mississinawa River. I'd like to replace the whole thing. The reason I say that is because one has 5 pillars on it, where most bridges over the river only have 3. And that's why we always have the log jams underneath the bridge. And if you remember in the past, we kind of always went ahead and did the design work and the right of way. And I think in the long run, it's kind of helped us be one of the select ones that get the project before a lot of other counties do, because we've already paid that expense and taken care of all that. So
It makes us more shovel ready that way. And so we're more appealing to the feds when they want to hand out money.
and I would probably, I'm just kind of throwing a number out there, I would say it's going to be anywhere between $4 to $6 million to change that bridge out. But in the long run, I think it'll be a bonus because we won't have to remove the log jams 2 or 3 times a year like we're doing currently now. And that bridge was built in I can't remember now, 40s, I think. The first year it was built, and then it's been reconstructed, like in the late 60s, I believe, or early 70s.
What percentages do the feds pay of those now?
80-20%. So basically, if it say it was $5 million, they would pay 80% of that.
We have the full 20 remaining, or is the state kicking as well?
We have it all.
At 5 million, we put in $1 million and they put in
$1 million is still a big number for us.
Oh, yes.
Yes, it is.
I guess the big thing is, you can do the design and the right of way 80-20, But we found in the past that if we go ahead and pay for that, we usually get the project because a lot of communities want 80/20 on everything, design, right of way, inspection, everything else, so.
And that slows down the project as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, right now, if we waited and we say went, and let someone design it, going through the federal aid process, we're probably talking a year and a half out just to find a consultant that would do that and everything else, so. And waiting on the state to approve that consultant and everything else. You can go ahead and select your own consultant, do it on your own, like we've done in the past. It's worked out fairly well for us. We did 500 East over Miss Centerwall. We've done 500 North over Miss Centerwall. Actually, we've used the same firm both times. And they're the same firm that we used on Washington Street that we're working on right now. So I'll be honest with you, it's kind of nice because they know exactly what we like and what we want to do. Point that out. So.
How does that bridge fall on our list of, bridge inspections, the priorities as far as improvements are?
Branson Street is really not, I don't think it's up high, but the thing is, they're not counting every year of us messing with the log jams. That's not in the criteria.
Sure. Is there a lot of expense when we do that, or is it?
We're paying about 12 grand a year to have that done.
And I would say, just from an additional perspective, when we have log jams, and then we have swelling of the river, that can put structural pressure on it that can weaken it, that's not taken into consideration anytime.
And I guess one other thing that we talked last week was the city of Marion's possibly looking at trying to do some green space or something down that area. So maybe we could work with them to make sure we facilitate what their needs are for getting to the YMCA and everything else on the north side.
Does that sound like something you gentlemen would be willing for us to move forward on?
Yes, from my point of view.
I'm okay with it.
All right, we will move forward on that with the anticipation. Again, we've had a lot of good fortune preparing our engineering and being, like I said, shovel ready. I think that'll be a plus for our bridge inventory that way. All right, anything else for David today?
No?
No, I don't.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, David. All right, are you gentlemen aware of any old business? I'm not seeing anything
No.
on the list. All right, we will move to new business, and Marcus, we took care of some of this, didn't we?
Yeah.
Marcus was on the list, and now he's off the list. He's not asking for any more money today. But Vince Beinecke's right behind him, and so he's going to ask us for something, gentlemen.
I have a quote here from Bischoff Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling for the replacement of the heat exchanger at the jail. We have a hot water boiler over there, heat exchanger, and it's for the amount of $8,361.85. He's also given me a quote, total replacement of that boiler, which is $15,960. The boiler is 11 years old. Minimal problems with it. I just wanted to present both these prices to you. You guys have an idea of the difference in cost. The heat exchanger replacement has a 1 year on parts, 5 year on the exchanger. And the new boiler itself is a 1 year manufacturer. We currently have 2 boilers. Right now, I have the one shut down because it's leaking. Exchange exchanger is on that one. They're the same exact boiler, same year and everything. I'm assuming.
Vince, you're cutting out.
Yes,
Stand a
I
little
couldn't
closer
hear
to that
everything.
microphone, Vince. Stand a little closer to the mic. This one right here.
That's right there on the table.
They're both the same age. Manufacturing date was 2009. Like I said, we're running off of one boiler now. The other one's shut down because it's leaking. How far behind the other heat exchanger is on the one that's currently running, I mean, that's a gamble. It's hard to tell. That's why I wanted to give you two different prices to see. We may get another 5-10 years out of it with a new heat exchanger. Nothing else may go wrong with it in the next year or two.
I'm gonna try and summarize it real quick. We've got two boilers, one's down, one's pushing all of the hot water for the
For
jail,
both buildings.
for both buildings,
Yes.
the annex and the jail. We can either do about a 8,200, I forget the
8361.
8361 to do the patch it up, fix it, and make it run again, or we could replace that unit for 15,960. So, what kind of wisdom do you guys want to add to this conversation on what to do?
Vince, do you believe that the current system with the requested repairs is a good investment?
Well, Ron, I mean, it's a gamble, you know, if we replace the heat exchanger, you know, we may get another 10 years out of it. You don't know really.
Right.
May get another 10 years out of it and something else go wrong with it. Like I said, we've had minimal problems with them. I think the only thing we've really had to have done to them is blower motors put on them. So they seem to have been fairly good boilers. You know, like I said, this one's gone bad. How far behind is the other one? They're 11 years old. Yeah.
11-year-old boilers, replace repair.
And Vince, what is the normal life expectancy?
Well, when I talked to the technician, he said usually around 10, 12 years is when you start having problems with them.
Start
He
having
did
problems.
give- Pardon me. He did give me a rough estimate on changing both of them out around 25,000. Assuming you're getting a discount for buying two.
Okay. Ron, I don't know how you feel, but from what Vince said, it sounds like it's about reached the end of its life.
Yeah, I would say so. At the same time, if we're having minimal problems with it, with the other expenses, we're investing in that jail renovation and de-home. I have a tendency want to take a chance on repair.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm okay with that also, but
What I guess Mike, I think it really comes down to, I mean, I trust Vince and those that he's working with. I'd say I'd want to just follow his recommendation.
I agree.
How's that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
If it was your home, what would you do? Would you replace or repair?
I would replace.
Okay, did you hear that, guys? The question was.
Yes, I did.
If this was your home, what would you do? And Vince says replace. Now, the
Replace.
other question that kind of jumps in there, and, you know, it's that carrot that we may or may not want to try and reach for, but the suggestion was that we could do the replacement of the one at the 15, or just have both replaced at about 25. Do you want to discuss that, chew on that for a while, or do you want to just take care of the one that is standing in front of us as a problem?
I would prefer to handle the immediate, and then, if that makes sense.
And I'll go with that as well.
I'm amenable to your direction, gentlemen. Vince isn't gonna spend any money unless we tell him to.
That's right.
Right.
Have a recommendation or motion?
We did save some money on that, water heater at the, EMA building, right, Vince?
Yeah, about $5,000.
Right, yeah.
I recommend that we do get something done with this one that's down as soon as possible. Because obviously if the other one goes down, we don't have anything. If that helps your decision any.
Yeah, I'll go with Vince's recommendation.
I will as well.
Did they say how long it would be turnaround to get a new unit in? Vince?
No, we did not.
And the other thing that we just need to clarify, would this come out of maintenance, or do we have a specific other line item that would come out of?
Assuming it'd be maintenance.
Probably maintenance, yeah.
The good thing is if we can get it in here, we can run off the other one. I can find out turnaround time on that.
I'm not trying to put words in his mouth. He kind of said it already, but he would prefer, most likely, we replace the unit completely at the 15,960. So, are you ready to make a motion to that effect?
Yes, I'll go ahead and make a motion to replace it according to Vince's recommendation.
And I'll second that.
You have a motion with support. Any further discussion?
Can I just add something?
Yes, sir.
This is not gonna help the situation at all. I'm just kind of curious. As a member of the council back when we did the project, we thought we really covered a lot of things. Now we're hearing this heating and cooling situation. Was that even talked about with our Amoresco people? Did they suggest considering boilers and so did this bond issue?
Well, from my understanding, that was part of the project over there 10 years ago. They're actually newer boilers.
So, I mean, we did this project, well, I know time flies, I kind of forget the days, but when did we actually finish with Amoresco, like 2-3 years ago?
Certain parts of the project.
Did they consider to do at that point?
Well, they said the life was approximately 10 to 12 years, and we're just at the end of that life.
Yeah, so it wasn't,
expectancy.
well, I guess, yeah, maybe that's okay. Just, it seems like we're still getting nickel and dime on things I was hoping the bond issue covered. That's the frustrating part of that, but maybe that's just the reality of what we have to deal with. All right, thank you.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. Any further discussion? If not, we will ask for the roll call, please.
Mr. Burton,
Aye.
Mr. Mallory,
Aye.
Mr. Marsden. Aye. All ayes.
Thank you, sir. Anything else, Vince?
I think that'll do it for now.
Anything that we need to have a heads up on? You may see other problems with any of the facilities or property that we need to just be thinking about for future?
Right offhand.
Gentlemen, do you have any questions for Vince?
No, I don't.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, gentlemen.
All right. Next up on our agenda, Dr. Moore in the Health Department. We have an update on our grant proposal and recommendation on contractual agreement. Dr. Moore, if you want to have the floor.
Thank you. Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
So we
Good
have,
morning.
we've been in the midst of this COVID crisis here, and because of the sacrifices that the community has made and that the intelligent guidance that we've had, it has been slowed down, leveled down. Our hospitals in the nation are under control in Indiana and especially here in Grant County. We've had great leadership, and now we're looking to see how can we reopen the nation, the state, and our county. How can we do it intelligently and not stir this up? The problem is basically that there's a virus that is very contagious and very aggressive that hit us, and humans that have no ability to resist it, no built-in immunity. So we have slowed down the spread, but also during slowing down the spread, we've also learned some things about how to manage it, particularly the respiratory component that use up the ventilators instead of 2 or 3 days that people often have on pneumonia. They may be 2 or 3 weeks with COVID, and that early treatment can slow this down and maybe even prevent deaths and prevent the spreading. We're developing some treatments. Vaccine are still a long way away. So the challenge now for the county, for the health department, is to assist in recommendations for how do we go about safely opening up. How can we take steps? Just going slow doesn't make us go away. Going slow, intelligently, and monitoring what goes on would make it go away. We had very limited testing in the beginning as they went to the hospital, limited supplies, limited things. So testing was concentrated to those who were symptomatic going in the hospital, and so they could do it. The governor now has expanded. Initially, it was symptomatic people and contacts, but functionally at the center, at the Y, at this level 2 testing, it is pretty much anybody who shows up can be tested so that we can learn intelligently where is this virus in our community. At Colonial Oaks, one of the problems that they had, that infections were popping up, they didn't know where they were coming from. They tested their staff, and they had a couple of dozen employees, totally asymptomatic, that were spreading it to the residents. And so there's been now a shift at Colonial Oaks and a shift in our government to try to understand where is this virus, and if we know where it is, we can begin to manage it. So the state now has a testing facility at the YMCA that anybody who presents can be tested to know. But as we open up the county, how do we know if it is getting out of hand? We can wait to see if the critical care unit fills up. But what we're recommending is that we set up a program where we test, and then as we begin to open up, that we have ongoing testing that's available. There's no place in the county where that can be done. So that we have been working on a program to do that. And in conjunction with Ann Vermillion, who is now a representative in the state, but has also been in hospital administration, we're looking to have an internship program here in the state, unpaid internship program, starting out with college students for. It may expand as we go, but we want to make testing available on an ongoing basis so that we can see is early on, is there increasing numbers long before they get to the center. And Vermillion has helped us with looking for grants. We have one proposed from United Way. We're also that will help with the initial expenses, but we're looking to have a program that goes from now until the end of the year, so that we are looking at is it erupting? Why is it erupting? What steps can we take to bring it back into place? So that there will be one grant specifically that we're going to be working on now, that we're going to be asking for permission for now from the United Way for some of the expenses that come up, including the consultation expenses that we have for Ann Vermillion overseeing the students and working with the program. We're going to be looking for you later on. We'll be coming back to you. Maybe you can approve it now for a grant for the fees of the consulting company that Ann Vermillion has to oversee these students, oversee the program, so that at the end of this, we will know what we've had in terms of infection, where they come, what the implications are, and try to understand what intelligent steps we can take. If a problem develops, to put a hold on it, try to figure out where it's coming from and fix that, and then look at it to see if we do begin to get in the fall, like they're predicting, another outbreak, that we've got knowledge behind us to guide our decisions. So we're asking for the initial grant from United Way, and if you're willing to vote on it now, another grant for an additional $40,000
Dr. Moore, it was somewhat choppy toward the end, but this grant that we're talking about, did I read in some of the paperwork that Eli Lilly will be one of the grantees or one of the people providing that grant?
Yes, thank
Or was
you.
it-
Now, I apologize, and if I start to get choppy again, call me on it and I can try to clear that up. So Eli Lilly
Okay.
has provided, is providing a grant to Grant County for $400,000 to help with community development and to also deal with the COVID that comes. And we are submitting a grant for that money. That's where we most anticipate getting it from. But we also have been in conversation with Community Foundation that specifically is working to help our community deal with this. So both of these monies, both the initial one from a United Way and the one that would come, would not take funds directly from our county and from our community, or grants that are available to us that would run through the county, but would not come directly out of the county's budget.
I don't have any other questions. Thanks for the explanation. Personally, I see it as a win-win for us, in that we're not asking for government dollars, as I understand. Is that correct, Dr. Moore?
Correct.
Okay.
And now in terms of tracing what's happening to our community as we begin to open up, because remember, the virus is still the same, the human body is still the same. We have to figure out intelligently, how do we get our economy going again? How do we get our country going again without the rampant infections that were going on beforehand? And we don't have, our staff are already filled doing the things that they do. So without an outside program like this, we don't really have a way of providing any leadership to the community as we get to know.
One thing that I think is very exciting, gentlemen, is that there are not maybe a handful of counties in the state that are looking at this type of an aggressive survey of what's going on in their county. State health department has indicated that they can't get us that kind of data. And so the brainstorming that's going on with the health department is saying we really want to know effectively what's going on in our community. And the grants that are potentially available to us will just shoot us that far ahead in understanding what's going on with our county, with our people, and how we can respond when new needs arise. Is that fair to say, Doctor?
That's correct. Thank you. And in the process, there are some college students that we have looked at. There'll be in groups of 4 as they come along. These are college students who are pre-med majors, who are health administration majors, social work majors, students that will be learning and doing the work under the guidance of Anne Vermillion. And what we will have is local people, local kids who will develop an outstanding expertise, who will be in a great position when they go on to graduate things, of the experience that they're going to have of setting this program up. Annie's looking to do it at a college level in terms of the experience and the oversight that the students will be having. We will also be working with Dr. Renfro, who's professor of public health at Indiana Wesleyan, and with Barbara Erke, who is assistant director of nurses. So that this is going to be, in addition to providing us with testing, analysis of data, but development of our kids in the community.
So we have initially last week did an executive order allowing the health department to move forward in seeking the funds through grants. And I think it would be appropriate to affirm that executive order, as well as approve the moving forward with the Vermillion Group to help coordinate and be our contractual representative in this process.
I would move to proceed.
I'll second.
We have have a motion for Mr. Mowry to proceed with this proposal and second from Mr. Burton. Any further discussions or comment?
On behalf of the auditor's office. I guess I would encourage health department, Dr. Moore, staff, as any grant is applied for and or approved, make sure my office knows what that is. So we can prepare. Sounds like the dollars have come through us in some manner.
Yes, it will come, it will come, it will end up going through.
We need to know, what the source of the grants are, and the application process, the budgets that are associated. I don't know if the council needs to have that information. The fiscal body, money's gonna be flowing through, so probably the county council.
Jim, I didn't hear your comments. You're not coming through clear on my end.
All right, sorry, let me see if I can. What I asked Dr. Moore is that as they do apply for grants and as those applications are made and approved, it's important for that information to be relayed to the auditor's office because the dollars, as I understand, would come through our office. So we need to make sure we have the paperwork to approve, set up, the various accounts and funds that will be involved. And I also mentioned because the dollars will be coming through county operations, even though it's not governmental funding, so to speak, I believe probably the county council should be made aware of that as well because the dollars would be coming through county government.
That's something that Dr. Moore could do this week at the council meeting, or is that something that can come from the auditor or commissioners to inform them? Or
My reaction is obviously the agenda for the meeting this Wednesday is out to the county council, but he could contact Mr. Middlesworth and express that that's going on. It's not unusual for something to be added to the agenda, so you might be able to do presentations. Make sure you're aware.
And if it happens at a time when I'm at my clinic, maybe perhaps Tara can present it to Tara or even Andrew.
And they're receptive to someone representing your office.
All right, we have a motion on the floor, and any further discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Auditor, please roll call.
Mr. Burton,
Aye.
Mr. Mowry,
Aye.
and Mr. Bardsley.
Aye.
All ayes.
We carried that unanimously. Thank you, Doctor, for your leadership, and we're excited about the potential of what may be going on.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, we have had a young lady waiting in the wings here for a while. Alicia Hazelwood from the United Way of Grant County. Hello, young lady, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
That it's informal in the meeting with NASCAR. I want to thank you. Sorry.
Try to be by example, right? So I am here. First, I will say that if anybody has any questions about the grant award, I'm happy to explain that. Our state association, Indiana United Ways, partnered with the Lilly Endowment to receive $30 million to the state of Indiana through United Ways to help with an economic relief initiative. The United Way of Grant County was eligible based on population to write a $400,000 grant to that pot of money. We did receive that full award, so we have $400,000 to use in Grant County towards economic relief initiatives. $30,000 of that will be used for immediate assistance, and then the rest of the funding will be used over the next 18 months to deal with the more long-term and mid-term needs. We did receive the initial grant application from Dr. Moore's office to kind of start the project that he was just talking about. And we're really excited to see what that looks like going forward and possible awards from that. So yes, the money is Eli Lilly Endowment money, but that's kind of how it came to Grant County to be used. So the funder for those grant applications will technically be the United Way of Grant County. Does that kind of answer some of the questions that you guys had earlier?
Yeah.
Perfect. So what I actually came to talk to you guys about today is for the last 3-ish years, we've been partnering with the Marion Grant County Chamber of Commerce, and was originally Main Street Marion. Kayla Johnson, she's now at the City of Marion with the neighborhood associations to put on kind of a downtown program on Wednesdays. We do adult recess. So we have a food truck that comes in. We get people together to communicate, to collaborate, and just take a break during the week. And so I wanted to come and talk to the commissioners. We always ask for permission to host that event on the courthouse square. And so this year, with everything being as unique as it is, our ask this year is a little bit different in that initially what we're asking for is to still have the 3 parking spaces blocked off on the Adams Street side of the courthouse for our food vendor, which is Pappy's Food Truck. They are following all of the appropriate social distancing and cleaning and all of that sort of stuff. They've been providing meals to Marion General Hospital. So I feel very comfortable in having them downtown providing meals to our downtown community, in that they've been encouraged to do so at Marion General Hospital. I think if there was a concern, MGH would be the first one to kind of nix that. So that's our initial ask. We would like to come back and speak at maybe your next commissioners meeting with a presentation around what would adult recess look like, social distance. Give you guys an idea of the connections, relationships, games. Obviously, we're not going to be playing giant Jenga at adult recess, but what are some other things that we can kind of do to start to bring back a little bit more connection and socialization, but at a safe way? And we want to be able to present that to you guys and what that will look like. We normally run from 11 to 1 every Wednesday from Memorial Day to Labor Day. So that's why we wanted to get in now to get those parking spaces so we can get Pappy's back downtown providing meals. And then we'll work on making a presentation. We do have a summer intern this year from the Accelerate Indiana program through Indiana Wesleyan. Madison Timmons is our intern. She's going to be heading up adult recess. So she gets the lucky opportunity of designing a recess that's socially distanced. So, so that's kind of where things are. I think we've seen a lot of success, a lot of new relationships and collaborations built out of the adult recess. And oddly enough, the corner that we normally have adult recess on, which is the Adams and 18 headed west corner, has seen a lot of development, a lot of people interested in what can we do with that building. And so several people have joked with Kylie and I about moving adult recess to another corner, right? Like, we fixed this corner, now we need to go to another. So, so that's what we have going on currently. And that's what I'm presenting and asking at this time.
Gentlemen, do you have questions for Alicia right now?
No, I think it sounds exciting.
So we are being asked to, again, mark off those 3 positions on the northeast corner on Adams Street where it intersects with 3rd Street, and that we allow preparations for adult recess from Memorial Day to Labor Day. And I understand Alicia is going to come back with some of that social distancing so that we're comfortable with what's going on out there.
Okay.
So
I agree.
all right, so you're consenting to allow us to move forward.
Yes.
All right, I think that it's been a very profitable thing for us this last 3 years. That's amazing. And so please start the process. We'll let Vince know that when we're ready to start blocking it off, it's yours.
Yes, so if we can start blocking off those spots, Pappy's is ready to start even this week if we're ready to block them off. So
you can do it Wednesday.
you could do it, Wednesday would be great.
We will make that happen.
Awesome. And if you guys have any additional questions about the grant stuff, or I need to go to you or county council, just let me know, and I'm happy to partner with Dr. Moore on that. So.
And we'll let Dr. Moore kind of lead that meeting to the department, so that's fine. If he wants to involve you there, that'd be great.
Good deal.
Thank you.
I just need to know who to write.
Thank you.
Yeah, if we're gonna get it, we want to make sure we know what it is.
That's right.
Thank you,
Thank
Alicia.
you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, we've got a few more items under new business, gentlemen. Do you need a break? You doing all right?
I'm
Okay.
fine.
All righty, we're going to move right into allow agreement with the auditor.
Yeah, we're reaching the point of year, believe it or not, where it's getting time to start thinking about 2021 budget. And part of that process involves Lau Associates, who we have our financial and our tax software through. They have presented to me recently, a few weeks ago, the expenses they are projected to charge us for their services for 2021. And part of that process involves the commissioners agreeing and approving that we do that. Part of the contract you had with Lau when we purchased the new software piece a year ago, about a year and a half ago, I guess that, involves you approving the amounts they're going to charge for the upcoming year. So that's why I'm bringing it to you for your approval. There are some increases over last year. Looks like the range of increases go from 2.7% up to 4% on some of the different areas. But it's one of those things where we got to have it for what we do. And that's why you like to have no increase. Having some increase is probably expected. So at this point, I guess what I'd ask and recommend that you do is approve these charges that are projected for the 2021 budget year for their services.
And again, you wouldn't say any of these were price gouging. You see a kind of a normal inflation on some of those packages. Not anything that's extraordinary or painful.
Like I told you, Mr. Rod, obviously I live at CC Road. What can I say?
I do have one question with IT. You expecting that?
Increase?
The question, we've been discussing quietly about the concept of employee time tracking.
Yes.
Is that in this price? Or is
No,
that going to
not
be
at
an
this time,
additional? Okay.
Yeah, that's just what we currently use.
This is just what we
And I
currently
might point
use.
out too, the one item that's listed is 12,000 on there. We don't use that. That's something if we would choose to do that. We don't use that LTI system item on there, so I would not project that being part of it.
So just for your gentlemen, it's looking like for the financial payroll system annual maintenance portion, it's 29,516. Property tax system annual maintenance, 65,532. Technical services, 16,958.
I will say that's one item that did not change. That price stays.
That breaks, okay. Online pay stubs, W-2s and 1095Ss, 3,575. And the financial payroll system software at 49,698. Those are the ones that the auditor is recommending we plan for. Is that correct?
That's correct. And just so you know too, beginning with the 2020 budget, we moved all these costs into the auditor's part of the general fund. It had been separated in a couple different areas, but just to make it consistent, we took it out of IT's area for the budget process. It's part of the auditor's budget.
So again, you're looking for permission to move forward on these costs for the 21 budget.
Right, and I asked you guys actually to sign off on. They want commissioners to sign off
Okay.
for our contract.
Gentlemen, what do you think about that?
It sounds fine to me. I'm not sure about Ron, but I'm okay.
I am as well. I agree, Mike.
Right, with your permission and either by consent or by motion, I will be happy to sign off and then we can use your stamps on this so that we can move forward.
I'm fine
Fine.
if Ron is okay to do it by consent.
I am. Thanks.
I think by common consent, we will approve the Lowe's contractual items as presented. And we'll thank the auditor for him bringing this to our attention and getting us ready for the 21 budget.
Appreciate that. And just if you would, when you get it signed, just get it to me and I'll make sure I can get what they need.
All right.
Thank you.
Very good. We also have on the agenda, gentlemen, the replacement of vacancies joint resolution. This is what we had been working through with the council and our attorneys. Basically, it was predetermined that we would move the hiring freeze, Jim. Is that how we capsulized it?
Yeah, in simple terms, was that any position except for jail officer had to be approved prior to filling a vacancy by the county council. They have agreed to reduce that so that anything that's a budgeted position can be replaced as long as it's done with, it's budget neutral, by the guidelines are in this resolution. And they also expect the Commissioner's office through Justin probably to notify them monthly of any vacancies that have been filled, just through a written report that shows that. Doesn't have to be present to the meeting to actually give it, as long as the packets they can have it.
So that is what we would be doing today, gentlemen. With your approval is, we have a resolution. What number would that be? Resolution number 2 of 2020, which is a joint resolution of the Board of Commissioners of Grant County, Indiana, and the County Council of Grant County, Indiana, authorizing process for replacement of vacancy in budget employment position. And that was pretty much agreed to by the council. They wanted us to bring something so that we would sign off on it, they would sign off on it. And I think the rest of the department heads and elected officials also had put in their 2 cents about what they'd like to see. I think we're going to make everybody almost happy. It is an attempt.
Okay, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Would you be interested in making a motion to approve resolution 2 of 2020, or you want to discuss it further?
I don't have any questions.
Nor do I. I'd make a motion we approve.
I'll second.
Motion from Mr. Mowry to approve resolution number 2 of 2020, seconded by Mr. Burton. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor would say aye.
Aye.
Will you roll call?
I'm sorry, roll call, please.
All right, Mr. Burton,
Aye.
Mr. Mowry,
Aye.
and Mr. Bardsley.
Aye.
All ayes.
Thank you. I get ahead of myself. I apologize, gentlemen. We are moving into the last segment, and Terry Burnworth and Tom Durnall of Pyramid Consulting have some information for us. We have bid openings as well as some agreements and updates. I should say. I'll just tell you, Terry, you need to talk loud. That microphone is trying to pick us all up. So.
Okay. First of all, the bid for the flooring. Jim, did you get any in the office?
I have not been, no. This is shaking her head no, so I guess that's somewhere.
And
So-
I checked with them, after you guys had started, there still was not anything out there.
Okay, they were due at 9 o'clock. That's for the flooring in central dispatch because it was amended where we took out some issues and replaced other things. So since there was no bids, it was legally advertised. According to Indiana code, we would ask the commissioners if we can go ahead and utilize a preferred vendor, a local preferred vendor to be able to do your general flooring. It's basically vinyl, tile, and carpet in the vinyl base. That's all it is.
We're not talking about a specialty type of thing that has to be done.
No.
Locals can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
It's about $25,000 worth of work is what it is, Mark.
that would be done from a local vendor, which we need to
That is correct.
shot in the economy right now. That helps
Yes.
out a lot.
Yes. But I need your approval to do that because you met the legal requirements and we can negotiate with a local preferred vendor.
Questions or comments on that, gentlemen?
No.
No, if you need a motion, I'll go ahead and make the motion.
Yes, we do need that motion, Mike, for the phase 6 to open that up to a local preferred vendor.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
We have a motion with support. Any discussion? Mr. Auditor, please.
Okay, Mr. Burton,
Aye.
Mr. Mowry,
Aye.
and Mr. Bardsley.
Aye.
All ayes.
We are unanimous, and I think that'll be again, a positive thing that we're utilizing local local construction vendors to help us with that vinyl and carpet. Okay, Terry, what's the next item?
Next item, the 24/7 chair rental. When we did the chairs, the cost of them came in around $10,000. These are a customized chair that are used. What we did is we went ahead and started looking around, and I normally am not a big proponent of doing lease rentals, but in this case, Shelby Products actually, they revamp the chair once a year. And so that would actually, I need an approval of an agreement. It will be $2,856 a year for 3 years. And that is a legitimate expense out of the 1222 account. And it is something that we have anticipated that would be spent. Actually, what we anticipated was a $10,000 expense. In this case, it's going to be less than that because we're doing the $2,856 times 3, which is what? Come on, Marcus.
Say 85. Close enough.
So I need your approval to do that, and then I'll get you a hard copy for signature.
I can also tell you that I sat in on the policy board. They made the recommendation to go to the lease instead of the purchase because once we purchase, it's ours and it's falling apart, whereas the lease, we continue to get new or renewed items on this. So these chairs are being used 24/7, 365, and the wear and tear on it seems to make better sense to actually use the lease than to purchase outright.
I mean, I guess it's $8,500. 3 years times that is $85.68.
So I need a motion to approve that.
That is the recommendation coming from the policy board that we go with the lease at $2,856 for a 3-year lease. That's an annual payment. Are you interested in making a motion, gentlemen?
Yes, I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve the lease.
And I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Burton, second by Mr. Mowry. Any further questions on the lease concept? Mr. Auditor, if you'll do the roll call.
Mr. Burton,
Aye.
Mr. Mowry,
Aye.
and Mr. Bardsley.
Aye.
All right.
All right, and next we have an update.
Well, Commissioners Bartley, if you don't mind, if I do number 9, I need to go over to a pre-submission meeting.
Sure.
That starts at 11:30. The phase 2 coverage update, there is a pre-submission meeting with the vendors that are interested today at 11:30. Then I'm going to go over to the new central dispatch. What the phase 2 coverage, what's important that I want to update everybody on is it is a 3-site system. There is a northern site, which would be at IWU, the Tucker building. There is a southeast site, which would be with EF Wi-Fi. Yeah, Walnut. Yeah. And then the south west site would be at the old Liberty School, elementary school. What's that, Strawtown? What's that other road? 800 South. Yeah. So favorable from all 3 of those owners for you to use the site for 50 years. So we will be finalizing the MOU on their end and then bringing them back maybe at your next commissioners meeting. What's important that everybody knows is that these 3 sites allow for your VHF as well as your 800 signal to be propagated, especially in the southern part of the county, in the Fairmont and Upland and Taylor University area. The other thing that it wasn't the reason we did the southwest and southeast sites, but those 2 locations also allow for rural broadband capability because that's being done at a wireless level because not every house can get a fiber connection. So that's kind of a benefit, I guess, that would happen because of these structures. And that's the update.
And that benefit could be for at least one, if not both, like some type of a contractual relationship that would bring a bit of revenue into it. Correct?
That's correct. That's correct, Mark. Yes.
don't need to take any action on
No.
that. That was just a report.
That was just a report, Mark.
All right. Thank you for your report. Todd, are you going over to that meeting too, or are you going to tell us? about it?
Yes, but I just to give you an update, this contract or this project for flooring was really been my whole hangup all along. I would have been finished by now. We could have gotten that squared away. So I just sent out an email to a local vendor, hoping to get a proposal for him to start as soon as possible. I've got a couple of others that are nearby, a couple other vendors that are nearby that have looked at the building. It should be able to get us a fairly prompt response. So the punch list items we've held off on, knowing that we're going to drag carpet and tile down through there and probably beat those walls up with that. So things done other than just getting that flooring in. So we're still shooting for an occupancy inspection somewhere around the 1st of June. And I shouldn't have any problems with at least even a partial occupancy. If I could get some tile in a couple of restrooms that would allow me to set toilets, that dispatch side of the building could be done. It could be operational. So.
Just kind of as an aside, gentlemen, and Kevin is on the technology committee. Help me with the date, Kevin. As of May the 26th, the Marion dispatchers will be rotating over to the sheriff's department. And they'll be doing that as we make a move. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct. We're staying with AT&T as our 911 service provider. Their recommendation was to completely shut down one PSAP so they could move the equipment without interruption, get it done quicker. So there was discussion of shutting down the Marion site and moving their employees to the sheriff's department to work, similar to what we're currently doing with Gas City. So they would stay City of Marion employees just working with the sheriff's department.
Starting that week of the 26th, and we think that once we get the equipment moved, we could possibly do a soft opening in our facility.
As long as we get the state to let us move in, right?
Yeah, well,
Personnel.
yeah, we have the ability. I've got restrooms available upstairs. It won't be convenient, but we could actually do a soft opening with those Marion dispatchers working out of that new facility prior to our cutover, which would be the combination of both agencies on June 8th. That's our target date. That is our target date to actually combine.
Gentlemen, do you have questions for Todd?
No.
All right. Thank
All
you
right.
very
Thank
much.
you all.
Appreciate it. All right. This is a public forum, and if you have questions or comments for the Board of Commissioners, we would invite you to raise your hand, state your name, and present your concerns or comments. I don't see anybody raising their hand, so one thing, gentlemen, that we need to discuss probably in this forum before we go much further. There's a question I've asked with our attorney, and it has to do with the governor's opening of the different areas of government and or public sector, private sector. And as of, oh, Ron dropped off? You're trying to call him?
Yeah, I'll try to get it back on.
Okay. When did he have to get to his?
Sorry, not.
Oh, that's okay. I appreciate you doing that.
all that stuff.
with us, aren't you, Mike?
Yes.
Okay, Ron dropped off. We're gonna see if we can get him back. If not, I'll just kind of brief you and then we'll conclude our meeting, okay?
Okay.
Hi, Ron, you back with us?
We're trying to call you right now. We'll call you.
We're just about there, Mike. Hold on a couple more minutes.
Okay.
Hi, Ron.
Hello. Hi.
Sorry, I'll try and make this as quick as possible because I know you have some appointments that you need to get to.
That's okay. That's all right.
Just the question of when we open back up this building and Grant County government to the public, kind of the full opening.
Right.
According to the governor's stages, there is supposed to be public access restrictions lifted on June the 14th. That would be the first opportunity for us to actually have the full county coming back into the building if they want to do business inside the building. So that would kind of require us until that week of June the 14th to continue to keep the building locked down, to provide sanitizer and mask for any of our personnel that are working in closer proximity than the 6 feet. But that the state would say provisions for individuals coming in to this building, that there would be access to the public for the recorder's office, the assessor's office, the auditor's office. And again, we would have to make priority. You're going to have to come in, sanitize your hands, put on a mask if you're going to deal with our people, type of thing. And we do it by appointment. So that's kind of where we're headed here, probably for the next 2.5, 3 weeks. Just wanted to know what you thought. I am asking Kyle. I don't think we can speed that up anymore. We can be more restrictive, but I'm not sure that we can be so lax as to say the building's open on June 1st.
Sure. That makes
Yeah, I
sense.
just, I agree. I think the more we can expedite it, the better. But yeah, I'm fine with that, Mark.
Basically, the governor's executive order also said that we could continue to do the meetings by WebEx, internet, as long as there were restrictions. So I would assume, until I hear differently from the government or governor, that public meetings can be continued by WebEx until June the 14th. Then once the building is open, we have to open it to the public, but maintain the social distancing, physical distancing requirements that the CDC puts on us.
That makes sense.
Mhm. Yes, I agree.
All right. Well, that's what we're having a conversation with Kyle about, to make sure that we are doing this properly, that we're not over exceeding the governor's executive order, that we're doing it right. And once we hear from Kyle, I'll let you guys know as well. Okay.
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 All right. I don't have any other business for us right now. If you have anything, be glad to entertain it.
I don't.
No, I don't either.
All All right. I thank you for your time today, gentlemen, and we will declare this session in recess.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.